In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a crystal Orgonite pendant in our deep double pendant mold. It's brand new today, listed on our website. For this video, I'm going to be using Let's Resin. This is metallic silver powder. It's not a mica powder. And what I'm doing with this, I'm brushing it on the bottom of the mold, which could be the face of the mold on another pour, to give it a silver bezel. These powders by Let's Resin are really gorgeous. You can't see through them. They come 5 to a pack, or at least they did when I purchased them. They're silver, there's 2 types of gold, there's a bronze and a copper. And it really does create a realistic looking metal bezel for a crystal pendant. So I'm just being careful there and taking it and putting it on the bottoms and the sides and around the little pre-drilled hole. That's what's also great about this mold. That hole up there is about 3.5 millimeters, so it's wide enough to fit leather or cord through it at the end, so you don't have to drill the finished piece. I like resin projects that are easy peasy. And here I'm just making sure to get the silver around all the edges. What I was going to say about this mold, you can do a regular type pour where you would have a glossy finish on the front, but once you put the powder in, you're pretty much stuck with powder stuck places. So if you wanted to do front-facing molds, which are different than this top-facing pour, then you'd have to have 2 molds, definitely. So once the powder's in there it is, looking shiny on all the edges. I have this stuff by Epoke. I don't know if it's Epoke or Epoke. It's supposed to be a silver pigment paste, but as you can see, it looks just like glitter there. So I had to add some silver mica to it. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of pouring about 3/4 of the way up. You see, I don't even have like half an ounce there, or maybe I have 0.60 of an ounce. I just need something to put my metal into. And I'm just tapping it down to make sure there's no air bubbles. And because this is an Orgonite pendant, I'm adding some aluminum there, and I'll be adding a couple quartz crystals. Orgonite, for those who are interested, is created when you have equal parts of resin and metal and 1 quartz crystal. What it does is, if you have a finished piece on your desk or a piece of jewelry like this, it takes any unwanted energy around you, it takes it in, washes it, quote unquote, and sends it back out as cleared energy. Even if you don't believe in Orgonite or don't care about Orgonite, adding the aluminum, or you could add copper to a piece, it gives it a little bit more weight, so it's not just a flimsy plastic resin pendant that you're making. And we always add additional crystals to enhance the vibration and look of our pendants, which is why I'm creating this pendant, or these 2 pendants. There, the mica has set up, so it's time to add my crystals. And I'm going to be using that DuraClear gloss varnish instead of resin, and a little pipette and a paintbrush. This varnish is excellent to use to glue things down. And the 2 crystals I'm choosing is Lapis, Lazuli, and Charoite, which is from Russia. And I'm just taking the paintbrush to put a little bit of the gloss varnish on the bottom. I just need something for the crystals to adhere to. When I've tried doing this in the past with resin, the resin always junks up or ganks up around the crystals and it looks like it's swimming in it, where this gloss varnish dries totally clear and it looks like the crystals are just floating on the pendant. I ended up putting a little bit too much in here, so I'm going to pull some of it out here in a second because you don't need the crystals swimming in it. But you do want to make sure that the varnish gets around on the bottoms and the sides and around that pre-drilled hole so the crystals all stick to it. And there, messy as I usually am, I had measured out enough crystals to fill each of the cavities, and of course I just spilled them all over the place and had it off camera. I did edit this video down. I think I spent about 25 minutes positioning crystals. In the past, I've used rough crystals. I have about 6 or 7 pendants up with pyrite and citrine and carnelian. This Lapis and Charoite were smoother stones, so they were kind of slipping off each other. And I'm just kind of being anal there, making sure that there's no holes showing, that, when you look at the pendant, all you're going to see are crystals. And you want to make sure that little pre-drilled hole up there is open so you can get your string through at the end. So once I'm happy with that, I just kind of tap it down, and then I make a mess pouring the Charoite in. Love this stone though, it's so beautiful. So then I go through the whole process, just kind of spreading the stones around. And it's kind of cool because there is no rhyme or reason for how it goes in there. It's just how you want it. And I did want the crystals sticking up past the mold, but I didn't want any sharpish edges sticking up. We do sell a lot of these crystals on our website. These are, I think, size 2 or size L1. I've done some with size 0 crystals. The smaller the better because you can get them into the smaller spaces easier. And there I'm just using tweezers to position some smaller crystals in the corners. And there it is. Once they're all tucked in there, it's time to add the top coat of the varnish. Now, if you put resin on now, they would just sink into the resin. Oh, no, I'm doing some glitter in there. Usually the glitter does show up. I used 2 tiny scoops in the varnish. For some reason, this time it did not show up that much, but it doesn't matter. It was just there for a little bit of sparkle. And then I'm going to take the pipette and just drip the varnish all over the crystals. You just coat it. It looks blue for some reason when it goes on, but it dries totally clear. You just want to make sure that all the crystals are going to be covered in this so they stick together. And one thing I love about this pendant is most people who cut pendant molds, they're about 3 millimeters deep, which is nothing. And when you put resin in there, it just looks like cheap plastic when it comes out of it. The cavities on these are 0.35 inches deep, which is 9 millimeters. So it's 3 times the size of most ones. Most other molds that people make. So these are substantial pendant molds. There I've just speed ramped it a little bit so you didn't have to watch me putting down the varnish. And I'm just using a toothpick to kind of tap the crystals down, make sure none of the edges are sticking up over the sides or that there's no holes showing where there's no crystal. But yeah, I like having finished pieces that make statements that aren't people going, oh, look, it's just plastic. Because really, resin is plastic, so we have to make it look better than what it really is. So that's why we're creating a metal-looking bezel and putting real crystals. There I'm just adding some more varnish on the side. You can always tuck in extra crystals too, which I did, but I didn't want to bore you guys with 30 minutes of me tucking crystals on the edges. And again, that varnish is going to completely disappear in the finished piece. And I'm just tapping it down. Even if you have a piece that comes loose or something that didn't get glued, you can always add it later. Just put a little bit of varnish on it and stick it back on. And there's the finished piece. Look how bright and shiny those crystals are. And it comes out really easily. See how shiny and pretty that is? And that looks like a metal bezel, and all it is metallic powder by Let's Resin. No crystals coming off there. So I have some string here. It's Korean wax cord. I have this in 1.5 millimeter and 1 millimeter. The 1.5 fits easily through here. So you just poke it through, loop it around, and you have a finished pendant. There's no drilling, no top coating, nothing. It's pretty easy to make a beautiful statement piece and one-of-a-kind necklace. And here's the finished pieces. Aren't they pretty? And those look like actual silver bezels, but they're not. It's just the metallic powder. These little pendants weigh about 0.80 ounces, so there's nothing cheap looking or feeling about these. They definitely are statement pieces. Let us know what you think about them in the comments below.